Hello everyone, I am here today with Hanson, who graduated from IMB last year, and he's going to tell us a bit about his journey at IMB. Hi Hanson.
Thanks Gagana, hi, nice to meet you, and yeah, pleasure to be here.
So I'm going to start with a question about what made you decide to come and study IMB?
So just a little bit of background potentially that could help. Having come from a brown Indian background, a lot of the time your parents just wanted to get into technology. Yeah. When it came to computers and technology, it was something that I really was interested to get into. So IMB was the perfect match. The reasons essentially that I chose IMB because not only gave me what I wanted to study, which was business tech from a good introductory level to an expert level. Second was the brand, and the third was mainly talking to people from within the course.
I can definitely see that. And can you tell us a little bit more about your time while at UCL?
Yeah, particularly UCL, there are a bunch of things I've done. The bit that stands out most was potentially the transition mentoring program that I've done.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was a program built to help the new students coming into UCL and particularly IMB.
And also, you can ask them some questions that you cannot ask your professors.
Oh, of course, of course. That always happened, and helping, and at the end of the day we all want to help others, etc. But that was just one of them. In terms of the societies I got involved, there was the UCL Data Science Society. I didn't really take on roles, but rather got part of it and went to careers events, etc. Yeah. The UCL Indian Society was one I really liked because there was a lot of enjoyment, partying. I mean, I just liked the fun that we had in terms of the events organized by IMB that kind of evolved to UCL James Bond team night.
Yeah.
And very recently, I think also our graduation party, which was held in Canary Wharf. So, I mean, I've been just talking about the parties, but there's a lot more studying as well. It's just that apart from the studying, this is a lot more fun the memories that kind of lasted since.
Yeah, definitely. We party hard and then we hustle more.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about any internships or jobs you had while being at university?
I would say one of the things that really helped me become a lot more mature quite early on, because the month I kind of started UCL and IMB, I actually started my part-time job at Apple as well. And essentially I worked as a sales specialist at that point, and I had to work 3 times a week. And IMB, as you know, is full-time education. So there were days where I had to go in after university to work. So that was my first-hand experience of getting into consulting jobs, etc.
Yeah.
And I worked at Apple for the last 3 years. And
so basically, having a part-time job whilst doing this degree is possible.
It is possible, definitely. I mean, I would not say it's not possible, except you've got to make sure you're really good at time management.
Yeah.
And then come second year, I kind of applied through an organization called SEO London to the Google Bold program with the help of our careers advisor at IMB. Got through the interview stages at Google Bold, and then somehow managed to get it through. I was quite lucky, I would say. I mean, hard work, but I kind of did a small, I would say, internship, if you would say. I mean, it was meant to be in Dublin, ended up being work from home because of COVID.
Yeah.
And that's been my jobs and experience whilst I was at UCL.
Did you find any of the skills you acquired throughout IMB particularly transferable to those jobs or internships?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, IMB gives you a really good understanding of management and tech, right?
Yeah.
But it also throws you into group assignments and teamwork. So a lot of these jobs involves working with people from within various backgrounds, etc. And being able to have that experience quite early on as part of the degree, I was able to transfer that at my various jobs, because you might not like it working in a team whilst you're in your full-time degree, because everyone has a different expectation of how they want to go about things. Believe it or not, that's going to be how you're going to face your work life in terms of just working in teams. The other skills are being more business focused, strategy, things I learned as part of my degree, and being able to think technically, and also being able to convert that into simple language for someone who might not understand the technical stuff.
And you graduated last year. What have you been up to in the past 1 year?
Yeah, I was, I would say, quite fortunate to, graduate with a first-class degree and then kind of get a grad job at Microsoft. Currently, I work as a consultant here at Microsoft in our cloud business in Azure, essentially working with the data side of things. It's a lot of learning, but I would say if a job doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, you're probably not in the right job, because this job has really made me step out of my seat essentially, and being able to learn every day, it's really good. And the culture at Microsoft, it's just amazing. Something I've enjoyed over the past year.
Sounds amazing, really. And just to finish off, what is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self or to first-year students?
I would say do everything or worry about everything that you can control. What I mean by that is, if you're worried about a job, maybe try applying early, or meet people who can advise you, being aware of your surroundings. But don't affect your experience of a university life based on something that you cannot control. I would say study well, enjoy as much as you can, build the friendships and relationships, and just don't worry about anything outside your power. Worry about everything you can control.
Yeah, I think that's a very good summary of everything around IMB.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking part in this. We really enjoyed having you here, and I think you gave some really valuable piece of advice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Really appreciate it, and thanks for having me today.